In that session, we will have the opportunity to hear another successful story about the implementation of Kanban in Management Financial Group. And for me, it's pleasure to welcome on the stage Ivaylo Takev, Head of Global International Audit and Process and Kanban Implementation Leader.
Thank you. Hi everyone. Thank you for introducing me. I would like to share that I have been with MFG for more than 6 years, and I will try to present to you our real story in our company. We started like a year ago. Okay, here is the agenda. First, I would like to share a little bit about MFG and our group of companies. Then I will share our main reasons for going Kanban, using Kanbanize. The major part of the presentation is about implementing the software in the portfolio companies. And at the end, I will guide you through some quick wins as we finish with some, of course, questions and answers over the presentation. So here we begin with the Management Financial Group. Our group, I will start with a quick review of the companies in Management Financial Group. We have 16 leading brands in our group spread over 6 markets, European and not only. The majority of our group consists of non-banking financial institutions. As you can see, we have provided quite a large number and amount of loans across these markets, reaching to this incredible number of clients. Here you can see our main leading brands. Among them, you can see A1 credit card, Easy Credit Bulgaria, White Card or Biała Karta, known as Biała Karta, and one of the largest peer-to-peer platform in Europe for investment, Juvo. Most of all these companies, actually 15 out of 16, use Kanbanize and Kanban boards for their projects, also for their daily operations or for both. The maturity level of the company is still quite low. I would say some participate more actively, others not that much, but we try to increase the maturity and get where we would like to be. Currently, we have 284 registered users in Kanbanize. I also would like to share that we have our determination to use the Kanban approach, and we have decided to go with Kanbanize, which is actually one of the available tools on the market. Okay, here you can see another picture of our ecosystem, as we are really very intergroup connected, and we try to take advantage on a group level on each market where we have operations. And last company slide, sorry about that. As you can see, we have started back in year 2006, as we are constantly developing during years. Our scale strategy is driven by rapid development of established models onto new high potential markets. Some of our current projects are related to United States and Germany. Okay. I will now guide you through our major challenges that we have faced before we decided to go Kanban. To deal with this, we have actually have set certain goals, which I will share with you. We all knew that our shared resources are scarce, like IT, legal, compliance, data analysts, marketing, but we didn't know exactly what, we didn't know our exact capacity and how exactly scarce they are. We never had a statistical proof of that scarcity. So that was the first challenge. We experience significant dependencies, and we actually go through intergroup and outer group dependencies, both in daily activities and in ongoing projects. Some of these projects are very complex, and sometimes we need our internal specific resource. Sometimes we rely on external parties. Resistance to change. As you all know, a group of that size is really hard to face the changing reality. So this lead to increased risk of sometimes project failure, sometimes resources competition, delays, and constant stress. And the constant fintech development actually led to sometimes not having clear focus over the projects on a management level. Mostly the senior management and very often the entire project team have been losing focus due to that complexity of the project. Next, we have set the following primary goals for our group trying to go Kanban. First of all, we would like to have clear visualization and traceability over the workflows in our group. Second, identifying the bottlenecks and options for reducing the pressure there was another goal that we have set. Complex project breakdown into small working tasks which could be done in better timing. We really hope for a permanent closing of small working tasks as a part of large projects. Furthermore, we were hoping to achieve predictability of the workflow and better capacity planning, better working integration between our companies and shared services provided. I already mentioned about the shared services, which is a big thing with us. We all try to achieve more focused meetings, better working integration and coordination in the company itself. And I'm talking here not only on IT level, but as well as on a business level. And last but not least, we aim for better quality of the finished projects and meeting actual clients' expectations, external or internal, and of course, reaching organizational agility is a goal to be reached when we become more mature in terms of Kanban maturity. So we also found that we can take advantage of this tool for some, I would call them secondary goals, like group reallocation of expenses. We try to split the tasks sent to the shared services between the companies in the group in order to reallocate our shared group expenses correctly. But that came later, the later stage, and we didn't plan it at the very beginning. Okay, now I will go to the essence of the presentation. I will guide you through some of the stages of Kanban implementation in our group. How it all started, we have started using Kanban since November 2020. At the beginning, it was more demo trying and adapting features to our workflow. It is good to be noticed that our CEO became our main sponsor of the project. We received a great support by the management board and by the major shareholders as well. We started actually as we bought a few copies of the book, The Go, a process of ongoing improvement, which we hope to inspire us all, and started distributing these copies of the book to key employees in our group in order, as I told you, to inspire them. It was not based on position, it was based on evaluating if these employees can spread the idea for going Kanban. We have received an ultimate support by our consultant, Ivaylo, and the Kanban University as well, and the Kanban team. The key managers in our group, I believe they have received the relative training before starting the implementation, but of course, you can always could desire more about that. So next, what we decided is that we decided to go for more gradual implementation, no push, but rather pull implementation approach. So we're actually looking for leaders in the company as our allies in the implementation process, as we strongly recommend and encourage acts of leadership among them. And at the end, we act as we use evolutionary change approach, as we recommend no change in the process at the beginning, just board adjustments according to the company needs, agreed not to be perfect at the very beginning, and probably update and upgrade later. Okay. And the next slide is about this shared services challenge that I already told you about. So our shared resources, IT, of course, IT, legal, compliance, data analysis, marketing, HR, have always been very scarce, and here we have faced our biggest challenge to find a better way of managing their efforts. At the very beginning, we have met quite a large resistance to change, as the workflows in these units were quite clear. They all had these Excel tables, prioritizing tasks with each of the companies. What we didn't have was the lack of traceability of their resources on a group level. So it was very important to us to add their workflow in the whole group workflow, as their efforts and tasks are considered to be very important on a group level. On the other hand, these shared services hold, and actually they had no desire to share their Kanban boards with all other companies in our group. I believe you've already seen that before. But what we have managed here is to use some business rules in order to automate creating related tasks on shared services board without having access to it and keeping track on that task at a later stage. I will now try to show a short video how these work between the boards, and then we will go back to this slide. Okay. I hope that you can all see that. This is a short video, a real example for related task created to shared services boards in MFG. The idea for this thing is to create this feature and to be able to constant exchange of information and attachments and comments for different tasks or cards on a different boards and for different workflows, because mainly I would say of confidentiality reasons. The shared services present their work to all of the companies in our group, so that was quite a challenge, and they didn't want to share the boards to everybody because they had all different tasks on it. So let's start. What we did first, we created one business board and many shared services boards, and we tried to create them, to connect them. After that, we will transfer this task from the business to the other shared services boards, and you'll see it in a bit. And then you will see the creation of related tasks on all other related boards. In this case, we have compliance, we have HR, and we have legal boards as shared functions or shared services. I'll play it now. There you go. We start with creating a task let's say, to establish a new company on some market, let's call it some market, and we put it in the in progress area. But now we know that we need the legal support, and then we create a related task on the legal board. As you can see, they start working on it, and they can exchange some information over this task. For example, they can put like a comment or subtask or whatever they want, because the cards are syncing accordingly. If they want to add a comment, it's very easy. They do it on their card, and you see all these comments and information. It will be stored on both cards. It's the same with the attachments. If the guys from the legal, at some point, they will be done with their job over this task. They would, for example, they might decide to continue communicate and like if they give a reply to the comment, these comments, they stay on both cards. Next, probably the guys from legal might decide to include some people from the compliance unit, because they will need the compliance support, and they call for them by doing the next step. They put the task, which is like a subtask of this task. So the guys from the compliance unit will deal with the compliance issue, and they move it to the next step of the process, and they call for them by this, the next step. So after they call for the compliance support, the card will be created accordingly as of now. So they call for the compliance, they put today's date, and the card goes on the compliance board. So at the end, the business decides to call for HR in order to help them hire a new CEO. And they might call for the HR resources, which are shared, as I told you. So they do it this way. They call for it, and it goes as a separate task on their board. So the best thing for all this is that all the information up to the moment that is exchanged between these cards, it stays on the cards. So each unit that has been added on the next level can see what has happened up to now. And when all the units, for example, HR are done, or compliance are done, or legal are done, when they're all done, they can finish their task on their boards in their own workflow, as this will be seen by the business, and the business can finish the task on its own board. So I think it's a good example of how we really do it. And for us, we didn't have that visibility, and we have that collaboration and cooperation before. So I will go back to the slide, because I have two more topics here about the policies and Jira versus Kanbanize, or Jira or Kanbanize versus everything else. What really worked was creating a policy according to which was for sending a task to one of our 5 shared group services. The companies in our group shall use Kanbanize as a single source of information, or a single source of addressing these related tasks on the related boards. We have tried to limit all other mail communication for companies that already use Kanbanize. The both sides should meet and discuss the issues over the boards. So it doesn't happen all the time, but it happens sometimes for now. And I think this move helped us create how to call it, to create organic use of Kanbanize and Kanban boards. And then about our IT resources, our IT team, we also have a company called Smart IT, which is our IT internal resource. These are around 80 people. They insisted on using Jira. It was because of the programming code, and we respected that. This became a big challenge for us because we wanted to overview the whole workflow end to end. And we managed to produce a Jira and Kanbanized sync on a business level. We already have a prototype in place still to be implemented in the live boards, and we expect to go live very soon. The idea is to follow up the status of the project on a high level, but not full integration. We received a great support for this by the Kanbanized team and by our consultant in this synchronization. So at the end, we agreed the IT guys to stay with Jira, but offered more convenient tool for the business part of the process. Okay, about the workflows and task types. What kind of workflow types and tasks we use? Workflows types are actually consecutive workflow and complicated adaptive workflow. The consecutive workflow is very useful for daily operations. We have agreed not to put all of the operations and tasks on the board, and this refers to standard Kanban workflow. About the complicated adaptive workflow, these are business to shared group service or shared service to business or business to IT and again to business. These workflows are more complicated and consist of synced tasks most of the time. Actually, these tasks are being synced on two different boards in two different workflows. These workflows follow the need for having for the business having the shared service. And second point of this slide is about the types of tasks. Of course, we use project management related tasks because Kanbanize is very convenient for PM tasks. Because in PM the sequence is very clear and responsible employees can work on one board, for example. But we also use it for operational tasks or daily routines. And of course, the software can be used for these types of tasks. In this type of tasks, the boards usually follow the organizational structure, but not exactly delivering the service. And for me, this is something that we should work over it in the future. Okay, about the process. At the very beginning with each business that we include on the boards, we start with a demo meeting showing the main features of the software. We try to adjust these features according to the specific needs of the team. Then additionally, we select some important employees if we could have them, showing leadership in the team to guide the implementation process in the company. Actually, that helps a lot. We try to provide support for them on the later stage by, for example, creating all kinds of policies, meetings policy, prioritization policy, and so on. As you can see, meetings are very important for us. We have, as a step 2, we have a follow-up meeting to see how they have adopted the initial demo and if they're trying the software enough. Then we usually have a retrospective meeting. So all these meetings are covered in the meeting policy. The regular meetings over the boards, we find them very important for all stages of the project and workflows. About the weekly Kanbanize implementation meeting, This is what we have in our team, and we perform this meeting with our consultant, Ivaylo Georgiev, on a weekly basis, and that helps a lot. So we also try to provide same-day positive customer support. Very important for the internal customers because this is how we try to attract them. And this is done by our Kanban implementation team. And this team consists only of long-serving employees. And I believe this is the key, and this gives us our best advantage at that part. So I think at the end of the day, we have achieved very fast implementation process so far. But of course, we still have a long way to go in order to increase the maturity level of the company in our group in terms of Kanban, like thinking Kanban and like doing the things the right way. So we create, maintain, and improve our boards and workflows by example, applying, I would say, adaptive approach. Okay, a few words about the security. These features have been implemented between our IT team and Kanbanized team very easy and smoothly. As I would say that it has been done in the right moment without risking the company information resources. First of all, we have integration with Active Directory, which allows us very easy user access rights management. And then the single sign-on and 2FA are security features for our own safety, and we can easily turn them on or off based on our preferences. About the quick wins, I will tell you real quick. So first thing is the predictability models are incorporated in the system. So that requires a lot of data in order to be precise, but we aim to use them in our planning process. And that helps for capacity planning. Second thing is about quick and convenient overview of the work in progress. And this feature could be used during the weekly Kanban meetings over the boards. The team stays focused over the delayed tasks only, which is, I think, is a great feature. And then we have this overview of the main blockers. We use the blocker clustering feature, so we can see which are our main blockers and where we should start working over them, and to be focused over these blockers to remove them. I think the best is still to come. We don't use all the statistics and analytics, all the tools provided in the software. I don't think we use them enough, and I think this should be used on a different level, and they should be used all the time. So that's it from my part. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Thank you for it.
Thank you very much for the presentation. It was really interesting to hear how one financial company implement Kanban and Kanbanize into the organization. Doing such a big change request changing of the mindset. How you achieve that? Is issuing a policy to use Kanban as only one source of information was enough?
No, I don't think so. And I don't think we have achieved that yet in a whole, like in the whole group, because that's a very long process, and you know that you always have people that do not like change. But I think that was a huge step, like doing this policy, because this is how you create organic use of Kanban boards. And at the beginning, we didn't want to do it. We didn't want to do it like on purpose, and we didn't want to make people. We didn't force people. We didn't want to force people to do it. But then we decided to try it, and I think it gave us a good result. So organically, a lot of people started using it at that part. But if you want to like spread the whole process over the boards and to use to use it in like as a whole, I think we have a lot of work to do in that part. But we take it step by step, and we know it's a very hard work. So we know that it's still to come.
Which group or department believe in your idea first and support you into the implementation?
Um, I would say that for example, I'll give the example with the legal department. First, they were very much against the software, but now I think they use most of their tasks on the boards. They do most of their tasks on the boards, and this is very good because they interact with all the companies like in the group. So these are like our alliance about spreading the Kanban knowledge, and they helped us. They helped us a lot. And there was one company which were very active. I'll name the company. I'll give you the name. That was Viva Credit. They were very active because they're open-minded, and they always try something new. And they said we're gonna try it, and they started first. So these were like the two things that helped us a lot at the very beginning.
Thank you. Did you measure the results that you achieved by implementing Kanban in your organization on business level?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yes,
Yes, I'm
yes.
sorry.
Uh, did you measure the results that you achieved by implementing Kanban in your organization on business level?
You mean about the pro? Yes, we do it, but we do it by spots. I mean, we measure results by the different teams and about their efficiency. What we want to do is like to see uh, to to be able to measure the whole process end to end and its efficiency. And this one is still to come because we, as I told you, we still have to integrate with our IT resources at the very end, and then we'll have the full picture for this efficiency on a like big scale, the
Yeah.
end-to-end process.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is the answer actually that I expect because you mentioned that you're still in
yeah,
implementation around the group, but it's good that you start to think about that to measure the result, which is important, and I feel you enthusiastic on that the results will be visible. Okay,
much.
one question from the audience into the Q&A chat. How
Sure.
did you choose this Kanban board? Are there other processes that are not included into your Kanban model? What kind of improvements do you think you can implement on your current model? Who participates in the modeling of the Kanban board?
Uh, I found four questions. If I forget some, you can help me with that
Okay.
later. So how did we choose? Actually, the decision was taken together with our group CEO and our shareholders, and we decided to go with Kanbanize by selecting this just to give a try at the very beginning. But we didn't. It's good to mention that we didn't forbid to the other people to use other software. For example, the IT guys, they use Jira. We have some other tools that are being used like on some spots of the companies, but we still, we still try to convince them that it's good to have one and the same software for to have this complex and good visibility over the whole process. This is how we ended up with this software. And what we don't put on the board is for example, we have like a big big time. We have call centers in all of our in most of our companies. So we have a specialized software over there, and we don't think that we need to put this process onto the boards because they have, for example, they have pretty good software for call centers. They have the metrics, they have the dashboards over there, and for us, it's not necessary. They have it. If there is a project in the call center, that might go on the board. But if like the daily routines operations, it's not necessary for us to make it more like more administration for the people in this part of the companies. Were there anything else left from this question? Because this is what I remember.
What kind of improvements do you think you can implement on your current model, and who participate in modeling the Kanban board?
Okay, well, as I told you, we encourage the acts of leadership, and we don't modify the boards of the people. We just show them how to use it and tell them to start using it the way the process is. The best thing for it is, for example, if you, let's say, I'll give you an example. If a certain shared function or somebody else puts his or her process onto a board, then they will see it's like a mirror. They will see their own standard. And we don't want to change that. We just want to see it, the standard, and see how we could improve that. But at the very beginning, we want to change it because this is their work. They don't change anything. They just put it onto a board and they start like using it. So at that for that question, actually the people which are like for the certain company in our group, they decide how to modify the board. They can use either one board or multiple boards. It's up to their desire, the way they want to modify it. Yeah.
Thank you very much for answering to all of the questions that we had. It was really interesting to hear one organization which is not IT, because most of the IT organizations are already implemented Kanban and experiencing that, but different industries are still far from it. Thank you very much for your participation. Kanbanize are sponsor of our event, and especially for all attendees on that session, they give 3 months free trial of the software. Into the chat box is the link where you can download and test it. Don't forget also to take and reserve places for the workshops that we organize as part of the conference. The seats are limited, so book today for tomorrow and for the last workshops today. Thank you very much, Ivaylo. It was really pleasure to have you here. Thank you on behalf of PMI Bulgaria chapter, and hope see you soon.
Thanks for inviting me to present at this event. It was a great pleasure for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.